When you send a text message across the world or load a website hosted in another country, it is tempting to picture that data beaming up into space and bouncing off a satellite. But if you want to see where your message is actually going, you need to look down. The reality is that global communication relies on a massive, physical network of cables resting quietly on the ocean floor. Think of it as a giant global extension cord connecting the continents. Almost exactly 99% of all international internet traffic travels through these underwater lines. That includes everything from your social media feeds to $10 trillion in daily financial transactions. We talk constantly about going wireless and uploading things to the cloud, but our digital lives are entirely tethered to physical hardware, sitting exposed in one of the harshest environments on Earth. If you crack one of these cables open, at the very center you will find the core of the internet, fiber-optic glass strands. Each one is roughly the thickness of a human hair, and they transmit your data using rapid, microscopic pulses of laser light. Because glass is fragile, you can't simply drop it into the ocean. Wrapping those delicate threads are heavy layers of copper to carry electrical power, thick steel armor wires, and rugged plastic sheathing. You have a microscopic glass thread locked inside heavy industrial piping. That extreme contrast between the fragile data and the heavy armor is exactly what makes the internet so difficult to protect and to fix when something goes wrong. You might have heard rumors about sharks chewing on internet cables, and it is true, sometimes they do take a bite. But a shark tooth rarely does any serious damage to the steel armor. The real danger actually comes from us. The vast majority of cable damage is caused by fishing boats dragging nets along the seabed, or ships dropping heavy metal anchors completely blind. Picture a massive anchor dragging through the sand. It catches the cable, pulls it taut, and violently snaps those tiny glass fibers inside. In that instant, data stops flowing, and an entire region can lose connectivity. A routine mistake by a fishing crew on the surface quickly creates a massive engineering emergency thousands of miles away. To fix the break, engineers first have to find it. They shoot a pulse of light down the broken cable from the shore. When the light hits the severed end, it bounces back. By measuring that round trip, they calculate the precise distance. Once they have coordinates, a highly specialized cable repair ship is deployed to the middle of the ocean. When the ship arrives, it uses a technology called dynamic positioning. Instead of dropping an anchor, which is what caused the problem in the first place, the ship uses automated thrusters to fight the wind and ocean currents, keeping the vessel perfectly hovering over the broken cable. If the water is relatively shallow, the crew sends down a remotely operated vehicle, or ROV. It is a heavy-duty submarine drone equipped with floodlights and robotic claws to grab the broken ends and haul them up. But some cables sit in trenches deeper than Mount Everest is tall. Down there, water pressure crushes drones, so the crew has to drag a heavy grappling hook blindly across the ocean floor, hoping to snag the line and physically pull it up to the surface. To save the most advanced digital communication system ever built, we have to rely on heavy metal hooks dragging through the ocean mud. Once the damaged ends are hauled aboard, they are brought into an immaculate, laboratory-style cleanroom right in the middle of this gritty industrial ship. Here, technicians strip away the heavy armor and get to work on the glass inside. Manually aligning and fusing those microscopic, hair-thin fibers is extremely delicate work. A single repair can require up to 16 hours of non-stop concentration. When the connection is tested, the newly spliced glass is sealed inside a watertight steel joint. Because you can't stretch a cable tight across the ocean without breaking it again, they add extra slack and carefully lower the repaired section back to the seafloor in a wide looping pattern. A moment of wonder. Our modern global economy, streaming, banking, messaging, survives because human hands perform microscopic surgery on a rolling ship in the open ocean. Knowing that cables break around the world roughly twice a week, you might wonder why your favorite shows don't constantly freeze or drop out. The secret is that the internet is built like a massive web of intersections, using hardware called branching units. If your data hits a roadblock on a severed cable, the network instantly reroutes it down a different working path. This diagram illustrates a subsea connection between a European data center and users in Africa. To guarantee these alternate paths always exist, Large tech companies like Google, Amazon, and Meta are now spending billions of dollars to lay their own private submarine cables. Immense, redundant networks ensure that your connection remains seamless, redirecting your data the moment a cable is compromised to avoid a total blackout. So that text message you sent earlier? It finishes its transoceanic journey by bursting out of the surf, landing at a coastal data center, and finally zipping to your friend's phone. We use terms like the cloud because it sounds weightless, but the internet is heavily physical, profoundly aquatic, and bound by the laws of nature. Every time you save a file, stream a movie, or tap send, you are quietly relying on a sprawling network of glass and steel buried in the mud at the bottom of the sea.
Do you have any ideas for my next video? Just write them down in the comments below, and I will explain it in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.